Hey, welcome everybody. After having last week off, Jose was in Hawaii, so let's talk about that to begin the show. How was Hawaii? I've never been. Apparently, you had some bomb ass IPAs without me. Not a fan of that, but hey, anytime my boy could go ahead and sip some ice cold IPA, I'm with. Tell me, how was Hawaii?
Hawaii was beautiful. It was actually my third time there. So when you tried putting me like, you be going to Hawaii? I'm like, hey, man. Well, honestly, I was supposed to go to Mexico this year, but I was scared. I was supposed to go to plenty of new places this year, to be honest. But I was still, I'd rather gone to somewhere I've already been than to go somewhere that has like COVID restrictions and would have like lowered, like it wouldn't have been the full experience, you know what I mean? So I'll just say that for next year. It's not a big deal. At least I got a vacation out the way because that's pretty much my last vacation for the year. But no, it was dope. So beautiful. So many beaches to go around. I have a friend that lives there. He takes us to like some spots that only unique to him. And it's just so beautiful out there. I mean, I don't know if you notice, I'm usually like I'm one of the lighter, whiter skinned Mexicans. I feel like I'm a little more browner. At least like all my friends are like, dude, you actually look a little Mexican for once. But it's I'm telling them, hey, no, man, soon it's not gonna be because I'm already shedding right here. I got like a weird like tan right here because it's like I did one of those little things where like I had my friends like spray tan, the spray sunblock, and I was just spinning a little bit because I was just being stupid with them, and I don't think some of it hit me because I had like the weirdest tan right here. It looks like almost like a lowercase e, and I'm like, what the hell? Like what happened there? I swear to God, I've never seen it. I'm like, this is like the stupidest suntan I've ever seen. Thank God it's like not. I don't live in a hot area where I got to wear cutoffs or just walk around shirtless because it's a low key embarrassing.
Yeah, that's how you know you're from the Bay Area when you go to Hawaii and you don't even like say put on sunblock or nothing. You just go out there and then you come home peeling, looking like a snake. But hey, I have not been out to Hawaii. Obviously, I don't have the wealth you have.
Oh my God,
23rd time. So yeah, just talk about how wealthy you are, Jose, and it's all good. Love the shirt, by the way. And where'd you get the shirt? Plug it real quick. When I see someone with a fire shirt, like I always mention to plug it.
Well, usually if I have a fire shirt, I don't plug it because I like to have that trade secret. But this one's easily right. One I want to plug. I got this like back in like I think beginning of March. This is when the homie Meg Reyes, who's I believe the communications director of Blue Wire podcast network. And she put this out, and like after like 2 weeks of pondering, I'm like, why am I pondering this, man? Let's just get it. Why not? Because it's something I can wear on streams. Maybe something I can wear, go to 4-hour practices. Because it is true. I just go. I think we talked about it last year. One of the first times you had me on about getting like more, just like not even just Mexicans, but just like lower ethnicity people that get viewed upon. And it's just always just awesome just to see. So just something I could spread the message because not like I'm at that level where I can just do that. If I could do that, then that's awesome. But like just the people that I know, like Omar Reese from NFL Network, how much like I've gotten to tell him and like just spreading the message. So it's just pretty much just all part of the connect. So she made a dope bomb ass shirt and it's just beautiful and I just love it. So I always feel proud to wear it because there's definitely needs to be more involvement.
Yeah, we know some of your exclusive shirts that you want to be the only one rocking on the street. We'll let you not plug those ones, but a shirt like that definitely got to plug so that, someone like myself or maybe some of the listeners right now could go ahead and get those shirts because it's a great message. And, obviously it creates awareness when you go out, you're wearing it, you're rocking it, whether if it's just to go put in some gas. But let's go ahead and talk some 49ers now. Kyle Shanahan, what about that, huh? Partying with Joe Staley. I believe it was less than 30 minutes from my house because that's where Joe Staley stays, is in San Diego County. Based on the scene out there, the ocean, I know Joe Staley's right there. So he throws a football in a pizza oven from a rooftop. I
Dimer.
guarantee you. I guarantee you. He told Joe, obviously after they recorded. Now that's what I want from my fucking quarterbacks. I guarantee you. And why do I bring that up? Because he tried to go get one that I would say confidently, can make that pizza oven throw in Matthew Stafford. A lot of people were just like, it never happened, it never happened, it never happened. And Shanahan said today, or got released today via podcast of, what was it, Flying Coach with Sean McVay, that he was stressing out about it. He was watching for the past 2 weeks before Stafford to the Rams was official, was just studying him, watching his film. And he realized how great of a quarterback he could be. And he never really realized the level of Matthew Stafford because he didn't study him that much, because he never thought he would be available to leave Detroit. And then once that opportunity came, it was legit. It was going to happen. Started watching the guy and said, he's underrated quarterback in the NFL. He's a badass. And he thought he had time to go have dinner and drinks with his wife. Apparently he didn't have that time. Deal was done 10 minutes later, and Stafford became a Ram.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. He became a Ram, and now it's like, oh great, that matchup's going to be all hell. But we talked about that a couple weeks ago. But I think that there's two things that got revealed. Is number one is Shanahan's been looking for upgrade ever since the season started, and I bet you the off season started for them, which was beginning of January essentially, or maybe even before that, because the fact that he had to go through 3 quarterbacks. Anytime you got to go through 3 quarterbacks in a season, you already know like something's got to change. And he already encountered that once 2 years prior in 2018 when Garoppolo already tore his ACL. And again, a lot of a freak accident. But hey, when it's Jimmy Garoppolo, this guy has a trend, a pattern, and it's just enough is enough at some point. We're paying him all this money. It's not like he's that great of a quarterback anyway. So at some point, you have to start looking at other alternatives, other outlets, other avenues to explore at the quarterback position. And number two, I think it's just in terms of, this is what everyone like Javi was reporting, and why even us who didn't have inside information about just theorizing like, hey, this guy is fed up. When we saw those little sideline clips of him throwing his arms up, almost he's probably was cussing on the sideline when he's watching this quarterbacks fail to execute. That thing had to have driven him nuts. And listening to that podcast, he mentions about how, I didn't want to go to, but this is when he was going to get hired by the 49ers, or he's in the coaching process. He said, I didn't want to get hired by a team, or getting hired to a team that didn't have like a top 5 quarterback, or pretty much a quarterback settled. So the fact that he came here is already nuts. And so boom, that's already been in his head. He's had this chance to get this quarterback. And then sure enough, not saying Stafford's top 5, but he's a teetering top 10 for sure. And that would have taken this offense over to a new level. That would have maximized 2021 over Lance and Garoppolo. So that would have been sweet. But I think this is the point, is that it stems from the same thing about why, you get dubbed as a Jimmy hater, or you shouldn't be a fan, whatever thing it is about. It's the point is that, no, it's looking to upgrade the quarterback, taking what the reality is, and just looking what Shanahan wants and what he's saying with a little bit of the breadcrumbs, and thinking what he wants because of how you watched his pedestrian offense, when his offense is pedestrian with the quarterback out at helm, because he's over there hand holding them, versus just like, hey, let me expand it and let you be great, which is what McVay did with Goff. And now look, now he has Stafford. Now all of a sudden they're going to be probably an explosive offense. So boom, that was crazy ass information that was revealed. There was a lot of revealing in that offense, but yeah, for sure, that's a great thing to hear that Stafford was a part of it. At least the 49ers, since their offseason began, was looking for that upgrade. And that's what kind of led them to where Trey Lance is now.
See, why I also bring this up is Javi Vega, who's in the comments. He kind of was he was the first on it as far as the 49ers interest level in Stafford being serious, because hearing Shanahan describe that experience, it was serious interest. And how I want to break down Jimmy, it's, you're running a business, you have an accountant. When the accountant's they're in office, you're getting your revenue in. They're collecting all their bills that other say clients owe you. Your money's good. Yet now your accountant's missing time, and you have one of your other executives that kind of not good at their job, or not as good as your original accountant that you pay a pretty good penny, and you're not collecting your bills from your clients. Your pocket's not looking good. You're breaking even on everything between, you know, outgoing, incoming revenue, and now your accountant's back. Things going well. You have your best year over year business with this star accountant that you're paying a lot of money to. And then after that best year over year, now your accountant's gone again. And now you're left on, you know, say their backup employee that's filling out their role, and your pockets are slimming out again. Now your balance, you're just breaking even all over. You're done. You're done with that accountant, no matter how good they are. That's basically what Shanahan's doing, because you could say Jimmy's his accountant. Jimmy, what he does on the field is what's going to reflect Kyle Shanahan as a head coach. While we can all look at it and say, hey, Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard are his quarterbacks, like, what can you expect much? No, Jed York, regardless, wants a winning season. Doesn't matter who's at the quarterback position. So that's how I look at it with Kyle Shanahan. And it showed that they weren't just all in on a rookie, you know, backing up Jimmy G this year. Being that serious in Stafford showed that, hey, we could get Jimmy out of here now for a guy who's ready to start. And that's why I wouldn't say Trey Lance has a 0% chance to start this season week 1. I don't think it's 0. I think he does have some chance, but they're obviously going to let Jimmy get as much, you know, opportunity as possible, because that would be the goal, I guess, you know, for the 49ers, is have a healthy Jimmy and let Trey, I guess, learn from the sidelines. Although what you say, Jose, they're not really learning if they're not playing. But I don't know. I'm just glad that, hey, this team is looking at every single possible option to upgrade, and that's all you can ask from an organization. Don't shut the door on anyone that can upgrade your franchise or increase your chance of winning a Super Bowl. Look at every single option, regardless of the position, and that's what the 49ers have continued to show. So I don't know why people doubted that they would go look at Stafford if they look at every single great player and call on every single player that could be potentially available that would be a game changer, which Stafford ultimately be a game changer. And so I'm going to ask you this. Since Stafford became a Ram, 49ers have Trey Lance. Next 10 years, who are you taking? Sean McVay, who has a more precise resume, a more decorated resume with his playoff appearances and his one Super Bowl appearance, just like Kyle has, except Kyle only has one playoff appearance over the next 10 years. Who are you taking, Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan?
I kind of still like McVay more, to be honest. I think I've always been more of a McVay guy. It's not like the gap is large. The gap is not large, but it's sizable. I think I don't know. Just ever since when McVay took over with the Rams, just from the get-go, he's
the Ramley calls Taylor. The Ramley calls you a hater. Look at you out here.
No, it's fun to mess with fan bases, man. That's why everyone has their own little shtick. That's mine. So hey, don't worry. When the week comes, I'm gonna make fun of that dude's haircut. Which actually, by the way, on the podcast, I actually call him the Wonder Boy, and I started dying that they called McVay the Wonder Boy in their teams. That made me almost shed a tear.
Totally fits. It totally fits.
Hey, it's the Wonder Boy over here, smacking him with the cap. It's looking at him giving out laminated playbooks. It's Wonder Boy, but no, dude. It's just I think you can't go wrong with either. If they both were a free agent right now, like if some team was looking for a head coach, it'd be kind of hard to say which team is going to want to interview them first. I want to maybe slightly lean McVay. I'm going to go McVay, but once again, Kyle, I think more so because Kyle, in a way, is just his ego a little bit. And just how you mentioned at the beginning with Kyle saying I could throw that deep as well, my quarterback. Yeah, that guy likes kind of showboating a little bit. He definitely has that in him, which is cool. You want some points.
Is it ego? Is it ego or is it just competitive?
It could be both. It could be both
because
for
you got to
sure.
find that line to where like you don't want to
You
be
do.
have more, have too much ego to where it's affecting your competitiveness
You
and
do,
your
but I think he's
success.
proven that he's proven that with how he does his personnel decisions or who he plays depth chart wise and everything, with
Dante
just
Pettis just gone.
how he handled just everything, yeah, just everything like that, and just kind of like there's a little bit of stubbornness to him. But then again, his what head coach doesn't have some stubbornness to them? I'm sure McVay does. I just don't watch them 24/7 like I do the 49ers. So I don't know. I just find McVay like I'm just so enamored with him. I mean, the fact that he was able to go far with Goff, and I mean, then again, you can say the same thing with Garoppolo, but I feel like Goff, at least in that sense, did a little more the Super Bowl year. But either way, I don't know. I just like the way McVay handles himself. He just hasn't. He's kind of also been a little bit. It's not like he's the one that's making all the personnel decision. Les Snead actually does make some moves. He's not calling the moves on defense. Which is like, even though Shanahan says he doesn't, Shanahan definitely has some say with defense. So I just like kind of the way that McVay's able to have, he doesn't have full control, and he's able to still just mind his own lane in a way, versus Kyle sometimes might have to do too much in how he wants like certain players and everything, which kind of makes sense because, referring back to the podcast again, because this is such a topic right now, he did mention that, Lynch is the one that called him about being his GM. So of course, like, when the GM comes to you, obviously who's in command? It's Kyle. Kyle is everything. And McVay has say, but it's not like it's 100%. It's not like compared to the Shanahan. So you can't go wrong with either though.
Yeah, I agree that you can't go wrong with either, but I'm going Shanahan. Fuck it. I'm a homer. I'm a fanboy, fangirl. It's 2021, so I could, fangirl out as well. Who cares? Because I do lose my voice from screaming when I, go to 49er games. I'll have to learn that, when I'm in a press box, that I can't wear Niner gear and I can't be screaming, go Niners.
Yeah, you can't be doing that, buddy.
Can't be doing that out there in the press conference or in the press box. I'll definitely get kicked out. So I, gotta just like tie my hands down to the desks there or to the keyboard so I don't do that. But no, to me it's kind of an easy decision, because I look at Sean McVay when he's playing against a fantastic defensive coordinator, whether it's Robert Saleh, Bill Belichick, and amongst others, he does seem to struggle a bit, especially when his run game isn't working. And I can say I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo, mainly because Jared Goff has a deep ball. He's a deep ball threat. He could throw it. He's not perfect. That's why he got traded, and that's why the Rams had to give up an extra one to have Detroit take him. They're not far off. I just give him the edge because you can actually attack deep with Jared Goff. And compared to Shanahan, he had like Jimmy Garoppolo for 1 year. They went 13-3. Granted, they had a great defense, but they were also number 2 in points per game. So also, even when the run wasn't working, Shanahan was still able to call offensive plays and create these receivers and give them an opportunity for yards after catch. And now I look at it, okay, next 10 years, maybe I should have asked this question and said next 5 years. That probably would have been a tough one for me to answer, because I could figure Matthew Stafford, the way quarterbacks age out in the NFL, will be there the next 5 years, but next 10 years, he's definitely not going to be there. Mm-hmm. But 10 years, give me Shanahan. I don't know who the next quarterback is going to be for the Rams. I don't know if Sean McVay is even going to be there for the next 10 years, because one of Stafford retires and he ends up having the Jacksonville Jaguars job open up because Urban Meyer doesn't know how to take his hand out of violence, apparently, on any stop that he goes. So he could go to Jacksonville, which no state income tax. You got some beach out there. You could get a pretty good home, pretty good life, and Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback. So you could possibly build something out there after Matthew Stafford retires. But yeah, for me, it's an easy answer. Fanboy out. Kyle Shanahan, give me him. I trust coach. Only chance, as Aponte will say.
Only chance, or only family, if Vin Diesel says, with all those memes going on. Hey, those memes are out of control. I love it.
Only family. Jeez.
I just saw that last night.
That's where moms and dads just I'm including myself on this since I'm a dad. That's where mom and dads just share pictures of their kids. Only family.
Yeah. Well, so Facebook. So Facebook now, pretty much, since they ruined it
Facebook
9 years ago.
And then since we talked about, so if you guys are keeping track at home, I'm a Shanahan stan. Jose chose what's his name? Sean McVay. So he's a McVay, like that doesn't even go. Like you can't even do stuff that sounds cool with Sean McVay. Ramley, make your McFamily. I don't know.
McFamily. Hey, they do got McDonald's colors with a little bit. Take away the blue, a little bit of it, and the way that they're ugly that little swirl, that little polywhirl swirl. It looks almost like a little bit of the arch if you kind of angle it in a way. I don't know. It's atrocious.
So 95.7 The Game out there was able to get Joe Staley on the radio, which I would suggest they should do a whole lot more, as well as KMBR, because Joe loves to talk. The dude's like must listen, and while I say he's must listen, I
hate talking to the media.
I haven't had the chance to listen to it. You did, and I'm sure it was fantastic because hey, it's Joe Staley. What do you pick at that interview that's kind of key highlights there from Joe Staley? This is obviously post pizza oven incident with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, there was a lot of nice little tidbits in there, like how he mentioned Shanahan wants him to be a coach on his staff, but obviously Staley's still chilling with his family, which is respectable, of course. So maybe something in the future, the next few years down the line, if Shanahan still hold on his job, Lance turns out well, maybe Staley comes back. That'd be
he will. Don't say that. Don't say
that'd be
that.
Something cool to key in on. Another quick little tidbit that I thought was great was I think for one game to win it all, chips on the table, he had to choose between Harbaugh and Kyle, and he wholeheartedly went Kyle. So that was pretty nice to see. But the thing that that definitely stuck with me, and that was obviously a talking point Monday and even yesterday, it was, let's see, I had the quote right here. They talk about the Super Bowl. They talk about the Super Bowl, about his last game, because it's only right. So that brought a lot of 49er fans talking about it. Whether I'm still, people said I'm not over it.
That's why it was all over Twitter. Huh?
It's why, because of what Staley, everyone ripped the quote, and here's the quote I have, and it's all referring about a turning point. Joe Staley thought, what was a turning point in Joe Staley's mind to that game? Because obviously, they had a 2-score lead and they choked it away. And he
flipped it away.
Joe Staley says, looking back and watching at it, why didn't we get it done? What was the turning point? I think one of those turning points is when Nick Bosa didn't get that holding call on 3rd and 15. And I think it's hilarious because it's not the turning point. I mean, I guess you could say it's the turning point.
It's true. It was.
It's true, but I don't think
because the KC just went off after that. They just went off. So yeah, it's a turning point because 49ers were in favor. They had KC on 3rd and 15, so the Niners were still in favor. KC obviously we know the rest of what happened. So yeah, it's a turning point for sure.
I don't know. You could argue the turning point was when the 49ers couldn't keep that drive when they were running with Mostert, and they punted it back to them and gave the Chiefs that drive to begin with. Because I remember even writing it on the live article at that time. I remember
because you were there. Let everyone remember you were there.
I was there. I was there in the stands, not the press box, which is actually better. Being in the stands is better than the press box 1,000 times.
They let you be in the stands?
Well, because they had a section. Because obviously they over-credential, so you can't put too many people in the press box. They only put like OGs in there. So like I was in the stands. I was in the stands with like SI crew and stuff like that. Like I saw like Marcus Thompson down the row from me too. Like a bunch of like pretty much like it was so cool. It was more surreal than actually being in the press box. But anyways, I just remember like typing right then and there on that drive, saying the 49ers, because then the Chiefs just like score a field goal or something like that before that, or whatever. I just remember saying
the Chiefs were completely shut out before that.
Well, I just remember saying like the 49ers need this drive to sustain it. Right, just sustain it. Get on their side. Ideally a field goal will put this almost out of reach. If not, it's over. I remember literally saying that, and then sure enough, 7.5 minutes to go, they drive the field, and then it's just whoa, what's going on here? So I guess, yeah, I think in that terms, like the main point of this is how everyone's triggered by that match. And then even you can even refer back to how 2012 Super Bowl happened with the Ravens, and it's just like it's such a like a triggering, like everyone got PTSD, but as much as it sucks, we are 9 and now 2 years removed from both of them. It's kind of time to move on, because especially that turning point, whether it's a holding call or not, it didn't get called. If anything, if we're talking about one call that was terrible, and I remember it was one of the first times you had me on after that Super Bowl, and I still think it's worst call in the game with the Joe Staley push off. Does he push off? Sure, a little measly one,
George
like a nice
Kittle,
little
George Kittle.
George Kittle. I mean, not Staley. We're talking about him, but that one really irked me. I remember I stood up. I was like, "Oh my god!" Because mainly, because being like
Super Bowl,
it's a Super Bowl, and of all things, you're gonna call that, but say you're gonna let him play. Like, I thought that was a little pathetic. I bet you if that was if that was only 20 yards and not a 60-yard bomb or whatever, they wouldn't have called that. But because it would have put them in scoring range. That's the whole thing why I don't think that you can use the argument that, Shanahan didn't trust Garoppolo, he went conservative. But it's like, no, he did the dump off to Jeff Wilson, and then it kind of set them up. So if it wasn't for that call, so that's why I don't really blame Shanahan, other than maybe running the ball more. But other than that, it's like there was way too many things that went wrong in that game. Like literally everything that needed to go wrong did go wrong. A couple of calls from the refs. Maybe better run selection, better play selection. Garoppolo not seeing it, batted passes, just getting beat, defensive gas, defensive let-ups, and it's just literally everything that went wrong.
Well, so that's why what Mike Person said on 4th and Gold is Kyle did call run. Jimmy audibled out of the runs for some more passes, which but Mike Person says that they were the right calls because guys were open. So Kyle did call a run. Remember, this. A lot of these guys, they get 2 plays. These quarterbacks,
no, for sure.
That's why a lot of great quarterbacks win the Super Bowl, and not every single one does. Because once these games meet a whole lot more, some of the best quarterbacks know when to audible into the run if they have a pass play, and some of these best quarterbacks know when to audible into the pass when they have a run play. Yeah,
for sure. And that's why I still refuse to give, like I said, give Shanahan much to any, like, that's why I said, when I mean by run play, I think I'm more so specifically saying, like, why did it take Raheem Mostert like the second quarter to finally start getting some runs versus Tevin Coleman? Like, Tevin Coleman just came off a broken collarbone. He's getting the start. Like, that. I think that's the one thing I'll just say, like, come on, maybe if you give Mostert early on, who knows? Maybe it blows the games open, but whatever. I just think, like, it's just, hey, like, everything that went wrong. Ultimately, you guys got beat. So I think that one, even though it was a 2-score lead, like, and you lost to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, I think that's something. I feel like that one's more to hang your hat on than maybe like the Ravens one. But I have family members who say this past one hurt more than the Ravens one. I think because, you watch the Raven one, you're thinking at halftime this game's over. But, versus like you actually were kind of, it was neck and neck and you dominated for a period and then you got dominated and ultimately at the end of the game. So overall, it's just like, it sucks, but like, get over it. You got to train Lance now. So maybe that was like how the Warriors lost and blew that choke. Maybe this one was a similar where they got them KD. This one got them Trey Lance. Not saying Trey Lance is going to be KD or anywhere equivalent of that caliber, but hey, now you guys they got more of a physical freak quarterback and more of a higher upside
from Jimmy. That's great. That's a great proposition.
Well, they could have. Tom Brady was there. But
I'm saying if they won the Super Bowl, they were not going to entertain Tom Brady.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they lost for sure.
They did. They don't draft Trey Lance this year. They probably just eat up the injury year because Jimmy won them a Super Bowl. Say he makes that pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, they're not drafting Trey Lance. And then that's the comparison with the Warriors getting KD. So yeah, that's fair. Since the 49ers lost, I just want to get over this. Don't want to talk about it anymore. Didn't want to talk about it last offseason. Certainly don't want to talk about it this off. If they won, I would want to talk about it this offseason. I would want to talk about it next offseason and just like never let anyone forget that they won the Super Bowl. But since they lost, it's like, let's just go, let's just let it be. Joe bringing that up, it just, makes it sting even more. Yeah, I do agree that it was the turning point, but the 49ers did have opportunities to, put the game away. Like same exact drive. It was where they got the passer interference on Tarvarius Moore to Kelsey that set them up at like the 1 yard line or at the goal line where Tarvarius Moore turns around. I swear to you, Tarvarius Moore turns around. That's an interception. It hit Tarvarius Moore like in his lower back. He
I
turns
still don't
around.
blame him that much
Because
that's
it's
against Travis
not,
Kelce.
yes, it's against Travis Kelce.
Plenty of defenders, and he's barely an average defender at that point. But plenty of defenders at that point.
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him because one, the guy rarely got any playing time that year, and when he did get playing time, it was mostly towards the beginning of the season, not the end of the season. Because remember, Jimmy Ward stayed healthy all like after he came back from being hurt. Ward stayed healthy the rest of the year, and while Jaquiski Tart was out, it was Marcel Harris in, not Tarvarius Moore. So Tarvarius Moore wasn't really having to play that role, and guarding Travis Kelce is tough territory in its own right. So I don't expect him to turn around. I'm just saying they had opportunities. If he played that ball a little differently, I don't give him blame, but hey, I would have liked to seen him turn around at the same time.
He just got beat, man. Everyone, Travis Kelce dookies on everyone. So that one, once I saw that, I was like, they just got beat, man. It's not really. I mean, that's why you could say, yeah, you could turn around, but I think even a good safety is still getting kind of owned that way.
But I would also choose Shanahan over Harbaugh as well. Granted, Harbaugh had the success, but it was just a ton of friction. Like it wasn't happy success. It was like everybody was just pissed off. They were just over talented. That's why they were still able to be on winning seasons. They had a functional quarterback in Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick rather than Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. And these guys, you could tell the difference between their love for Shanahan and Harbaugh. Now, I don't think they would say anything negative about Harbaugh. They would just prefer Shanahan as the head coach. And you could see that. You could see like the vibe with the players within the team. And I don't like with Harbaugh too. It's like what did
more
he
of a hard ass though?
Yeah, like and it's like wasn't an offensive genius. Like he was to the point to where they had what's his name? That's the OC in Baltimore now. That he had him. Greg Roman. He had Greg Roman calling plays for him. And when defenses figured out what the hell the 49ers were doing almost every single play, Harbaugh didn't change that up. No, he still let Greg Roman go out there and be Greg Roman. So, and then he also had like Jeep Christ calling the red zone plays.
Yeah, I just saw that too. I was like, what? I was like, that was a thing? I was like, that's nuts. You have that many play callers for that situations, you got some issues. I still think when you see a passing game coordinator, run game coordinator, not saying because they had 49ers have LaFleur and McDaniels for that. But that's more for like the game plan. But you actually have two specific people calling those plays for that. I feel like it's like, dude, that's at some point someone has to be the leader. Someone has to be the one that's like,
we're gonna call by John. This right here by John. Spot on.
Yeah, that's kind of true for sure. During that time, like it was just like it's kind of funny when you compare any of those teams, or at least the Super Bowl team from 2012 to 2019. You look at it and you just can't help but think about how they're both dominant defenses, but one was like maybe a little bit more finesse because for sure, you had Hittner at that time just laying people out with Goldson, like all those linebackers, they were just flying.
Yeah, they were just badass. That's
they were badass. And the running game too, their running game was more physical, where like the 49ers running game with Kyle was just like, oh my God, it's like it had its own explosion, but it wasn't like bang bang. It was like just like open it up and then we're gonna cut your defense deep and we're gonna run it for like 50 yards. So just watching those both, that's why I think when you compare the two, it's like I remember like I got in playing discussions when it was already, I think it started with the Browns after they dominated the Browns on Monday Night Football in 2019. It was, which defense looks better or which offensive success. I mean, which team looked better? Just I focus on the defense. Was it the 2012 defense of the 49ers, 2019? I think I leaned more with 2019, even though, I don't think 2012 49ers would work now because the rules are a little bit more flimsy. But I don't know. I just like the way their pass rush. I feel like the pass rush was a little better. Their corners were, I don't know. I think just it's kind of hard to compare. Like who would win? I think I've heard that one. Like who would win in a heads up? And it's like probably 2019 once again because of the rules.
Yeah, 2019 safeties didn't create many turnovers, but they were hell of a lot better in coverage. Javi could back me up on this in the comments. Watching that Ravens Super Bowl, Dante Whitner couldn't cover a parked car.
Nope.
Could not cover a parked car. Dennis Pitta did whatever he wanted on him. So, yeah, they did have state coverage in 2019. And pass as a whole, when healthy, granted, like D Ford on the field, and when healthy in 2019, that pass rush was just, ugh. It was disgusting dominating other teams. I wish I had that when I played corner.
Yeah, for real. Like, yeah, I'm just chilling here. I'm gonna go here, I'll grab a little water, sip on it. 2 seconds later, the play's over, bro. Like, don't run this route. So it's gonna be over right now. It's gonna be over in the snap of a finger. But I don't know. Sidetracking a little bit. I kind of hate that everyone's like, oh, the safety doesn't get turnovers. Like, what? Not even that many great safeties would garner turnovers, and when they did, they were like outliers, like Ed Reed or Charles Woodson. Even Woodson wasn't like dominating like that. It's just blanket coverage. Just do that. Just don't get beat deep. They literally said safety is your last line of defense. If you're relying on your last line of defense to get that turnover or whatnot, might be a little bit of an issue. That means your pass rush is not getting there. If your corners are breaking through. Oh man, right? Hey, absolutely. I can't wait to hear this guy on a phone conference with us the week of, which is probably going to be like on a Wednesday or a Thursday or whatever, a Tuesday.
Are the 49ers going to let you get a question in, or are they still,
no, they're not going to make it a question. I just listen. I just listen and put notes to what someone says so I can use for like articles for the week. That's pretty much all I'm there for now. No, I can't wait to hear some of the weird stuff this guy is going to say, and I can't wait to tweet about him and be like, this guy just said he can't wait to eat Kyle Shanahan's playbooks, or I don't know, he's gonna say some weirdo stuff. He's gonna be like, well, Niners are human and lions eat humans, or I don't know. He's gonna say something hella corny, something just so cliche, and it's just gonna. I'm just gonna go viral. Dying.
We're all just gonna laugh.
It's gonna be on the phone, so you're not gonna be able to video it, but it will be a quote, something I'll try to like jot down quickly because a lot of these guys like to talk hella fast.
Yeah, well, at least then you can't cover baseball and have a Dominican player that you interview if you're talking about talking fast.
Dude, you're telling me about like, oh, tell everyone else in the Super Bowl. Well, hey, let me let everyone know about how fast talking in Spanish these Cubans Uber drivers were, man. I couldn't understand a damn thing they were saying. I was like, what are you saying, man? Let me put that slow motion for me for a second. That's what I wanted to tell them, and just like I need to like I need you to spend 10 seconds saying that one word because that's how fast you were saying it. I was like what? I was like I couldn't get it was just bad. It was really bad.
It's wild. Yeah, because I have I understand Spanish and everything, but I have a Dominican barber here in San Diego, and he's just talking to me. I was just like, what?
Whoa.
What? Like please.
A combination of Busta Rhymes and Sean Paul. Just the way that.
What else did Joe say in that interview that kind of just, got you thinking? Or laughing?
No, that pretty much was like the main quote of it. I guess laughing. I think I remember him talking about, because you know how Tim Tebow tight end, and then all of a sudden like all these people like, oh, I'm gonna play Brandon Jacobs, I'm gonna play tight end and pass rusher or whatever. I think Staley said like, oh yeah, if I'm gonna play tight end, I'm coming for Kittle's job. Like he said that, something like that. So I was like, ha ha ha, like a little funny. But other than that, I think the main takeaway for me was just like the Super Bowl, and that got me thinking. And that kind of like triggered everyone the most. So that was the one that was the most entertaining from that. But other than that, it was just pretty much same basic chatter, like how you doing retirement and stuff like that. What do you think? So it was a nice little listen.
Yeah. So I think I titled this episode something about N'Keal Harry. We haven't talked about it yet. What's your thoughts on N'Keal Harry? Do the 49ers go out and should they entertain it? Well, obviously they probably will, because they entertain everybody on the market that they think could possibly upgrade their team. Do you think they should make an offer? How about that? I'll say that. Do you think they should make an offer for N'Keal Harry? And if you think they do, what should it be?
It's kind of, I don't think they should. Personally, overall, I don't care what they do. Obviously, I feel like you can go either way with it, because I feel like the max that Patriots could get for him is a 6th or a conditional 7th that turns into a 6. So when you think about it, like, oh, giving up that for, potential talent that we can carve out a 3rd, 4th role for him, like, why not? This guy's a former first round pick. Maybe there could be something there. But I think if the reason why I'm going to side with saying no is just because, the guy is very stiff to me. The guy reminds me, the guy's like the wide receiver version of Cleveland Farrell to me, actually. The way he's just so stiff and doesn't know how to move. Like, it's just, I just, for me, it's like, if I'm drafting a wide receiver, not just for his physical ability, for ideally like high first round for his physical talent, like, that you can't teach, but I want him to be like very fluid route running that I don't really need to spend much time with him. And obviously not so many drops. And that's two out of the top 3 things that he's missing is route running. The guy looks like, I remember I said this when he was coming out of college. I think I said either he's running, like, it looks like he's running routes on sand. Like, I just can't, it takes him forever to get out of his breaks. It's not like he started his rookie career that great, already injured. I mean, not saying like everything's 100% his fault, because maybe the Patriots kind of give up on players too easily sometimes if you don't show promise, which they have shown in the past. But I see it as like, what, maybe you shouldn't just because of that. What really is there? And even if you do give up a 6th or a 7th, it's kind of like, what were you guys doing? You kind of knew it already. Like, not saying that they're gonna be like, they're going to look stupid and look like fools because, like, they gave up a late round pick. What was that going to matter? But I just think, like, when you consider, like, who they already have on roster wide receiver, I know there's no one taking that wide receiver 3 position other than what we talked about. Sanu's probably the favorite. But then at that point now, they might not do it. I definitely don't think the Niners are going to do it regardless. But I think when you start considering that, hey, we had Jalen Hurd. At one point, are we gonna start letting them actually, like, try to have a season or do something? I expect them to bring him along slowly, but at some point he needs to get the chance because he was a 67th or in the 60s overall pick. That's pretty high for any type of position you're looking at. So at that point, they got to at least like try to make him have some type of impact or some type of production. They got to at least give him a chance to win that number 3 role. And then there's also Richie James, who I think is underrated, who can also be rotational or whatnot. It's not like they have any promising players other than maybe even Sanu, but it's just
Craycraft, maybe.
I feel like they're not terrible at wide receivers. Everyone thinks it's just no one wants to. It's just everyone wants more of a standout name or wants someone to produce. But it's like, hey, it's not like they're gonna go like 4 wides. They're gonna go 4 by 1. It's gonna be a lot of times the 49ers go no more than 3 wide receiver sets, and they'll go with Kittle, and they're gonna make up the number 3, number 4 wide receivers with their running backs. Trey Sermon, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson when he comes back. So Kyle Juszczyk, might see a lot more be lined up out there. So I don't think wide receivers as pressing as people want to make it out to be just because there's no name. So that's why I kind of see like, I won't criticize them if they want to take a flyer on him. Why not? They were looking at him, but I just feel like maybe he's not there because if this guy can't get route running like at least decently or improved, especially the hands after 2 seasons, he's probably a lost cause.
Yeah. I wouldn't invest that draft capital for N'Keal Harry. Like, I as much as I want to say yes, the route running, the inability, to at least on tape beat man-on-man coverage, and then when he does, and the quarterback gives him the ball in that throwing window, in his catch radius, he drops it.
Yeah,
and if I'm investing a 6th or 7th round pick, I'd rather invest it on a guy that could potentially show me something, and get 4 years of service for it rather than just 2. Because you're not going to 5th year option to kill Harry. You're not going to do that. No matter how good he ends up, you're still not going to do it. And he would be the 3rd target on the 49ers the next 2 years anyway. So he's not going to have the numbers to have that 5th year option exercised. And I come down to that. Give me 4 years of potential production rather than 2. I like Mohamed Sanu as a wide receiver 3 for this year to at least week 1. I would like Jalen Hurd to take over that role, a healthy Jalen Hurd to take over that role, or have some Richie James Jr. sprinkled in because I think he can do something. I don't think he's the best route runner in the world. I do notice that Richie James Jr. does kind of bend his routes. Yes, he rounds out his route. So basically, what I'm saying is, where is it?
Rather than 90 degrees, the guy's turning instead of an L, he's running a C.
There you go. Appreciate you. Thank you for pinch hitting for me on that. And so I don't think he could run a full Shanahan offense as a wide receiver three. And a lot of it is like look at when Richie James Jr. got the ball. There's probably a video on YouTube somewhere showing every single reception from Richie James Jr. A lot of it is just open field, screens and easily set up designs. It's not he doesn't win off his route running, so he can't be the wide receiver three. River Craycraft, I do think he has potentially a little Kendrick Bourne in him to where he could get some reps as a wide receiver three. I don't think it's going to be full time because remember, Kendrick Bourne worked really, really hard to earn that role, and I don't think Craycraft is there yet. And then Craycraft is going to have the learning curve of NFL talent, NFL games. And you're not going to just invest him solely as a wide receiver three when you picked him up off the streets. If you picked him in the second, third, or first round, then yeah, you're going to invest in him solely and give him every opportunity to succeed. Craycraft's not going to get every opportunity to succeed. So I would hope to see Sanu to start the year and then Jalen Hurts to take over that. I think that ends up being a winning season for the 49ers, at least when it comes to who's their wide receiver three. Like, that'll be a major victory if they can have a healthy Jalen from weeks 6 to 18, and then the first 5 are all Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much just the core for me. It's just going to be like probably, I think you pretty much eloquated that perfectly. It's just Sanu, head of the lead right now. He's familiar with it. He doesn't need to do too much because, again, they don't go through wide receiver sets often. Or at least that's never what they want, because if they do, it's usually when they're in a long situation on down. And then hopefully they can bring Hurd along slowly. Richie James can always slide in, if they want. Not like they're going to demand much routes from him anyways. But other than that, I don't really care about anyone else. Everyone else is like, there's no expectations. Anyone else would be a bonus if they can actually flourish, like a Craycraft. Like, I'm not going to watch him. If I see some plays he stands on a camp, I'm like, okay, let's see some more. Or even Juwan Jennings, people are forgetting about him a little bit. But then again, it's like, these guys aren't coveted picks. And that's something that I've noticed in Shanahan, that he doesn't give too much of the time of day for players that were low end or undrafted free agents. Like Emmanuel
that's
Mosley.
Why Kendrick Bourne so much time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's why
that's for him to get that role.
Dante Pettis is why he kept forcing it so much too with him. Although that it kind of there's a lot you can get in with that. It's already been talked about many times. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot to that, I think, because, at least like if they do, it's all about image too. So if they're at least like, hey, these are the guys we selected, and the undrafted free agents were just like, oh yeah, come on, like hop on, whatever, why not?
And since you mentioned Dante Pettis, Grant, I know you're not watching, but if somebody wants to send you this video, stop tagging Dante Pettis or mentioning his name. He told you to get over it. It's time to move on. You're telling us to get over the Super Bowl, that it's time to move on. So even trade. Move on from Dante Pettis, and we'll move on from the Super Bowl. Well, he just mentioned he saw Grant say his name, and he responded to Grant to get over it. Yeah,
I can't see it. I can't see it because I'm blocked from Dante Pettis. Which I'm like, why am I blocked from him? I remember
you wrote an article that was very mean. Okay, that's why.
Dude, I remember I was on streams with Grant like every week or almost every day, like in training camp, saying like I like Dante Pettis, and I was defending him against Grant. So I'm like, God damn, dude, this guy, I guess he's one of the few 49er players that reads and doesn't watch. Because I'm like, I might have said something joking with him, but when I actually say it. I actually said it. I said, hey, he's actually been I literally said he's been my favorite receiver I've been watching. He looked like he was giving a nice little shimmies on some of the defenders.
I would have liked, like, Dante Pettis is never coming back to the 49ers because I hope Kyle Shanahan is always the head coach, and I doubt he's going to sign with the team.
No.
Kyle Shanahan's the head coach, and Kyle Shanahan's not going to sign Dante Pettis. But I wish I had an opportunity to watch a Trey Lance and Dante Pettis wide receiver quarterback combo, because I think they could have been something together. Jimmy completely lost trust in Dante. So if you look back to the film on that one game against Arizona, Dante was actually open majority of his routes, but Jimmy wouldn't give Dante a time of day. So I think he's a good route runner, and I think he probably would have fit Trey Lance well, and he would have been the wide receiver 3 that we're discussing now. Like, we would have, like, N'Keal Harry, absolutely not, rather than saying, oh, maybe a 6th round pick. We would have said, hell no. Dante Pettis, wide receiver 3, and then Mohamed Sanu's back him up, and then hopefully a healthy Jalen Hurd could get mixed in. But that's not the reality. That's not the story. But we'll see. Now, I do want to talk about something else regarding the uniforms. How do you feel about those red helmets if they brought them?
Oh God, if they brought them, I'm gonna go try to apply for like a bunch of other jobs so I can cover other teams because those are disgusting. There should not be red helmets. Like, what are you doing here? Like, you don't have the same color scheme like that you're wearing your. I don't know. I just think that's ugly. At least for the 49ers.
The Chiefs do it. The Chiefs do it. They got red helmets, red jerseys.
But that's already embedded. You don't want to do the 49ers red on red, and they have gold. It's just kind of ugly to me. Like I've seen even like Packers like yellow jerseys and yellow helmets. That looks ugly to me. Or Raiders black helmets and black jerseys. That looks ugly as hell to me. Like, no, dude, like just stop messing. Like there's some teams that, okay, they need to have mess around unis. Like the Jaguars, they're a nobody franchise. They needed to have all those changes in the last like 15 years. The 49ers, no, do not touch anything. Well,
Jaguars need to sell goddamn apparel. They need to sell jerseys.
Exactly, because they're a nobody franchise. They need new stuff.
That was the only way to sell new stuff.
49ers are top 5 fan base in the country. So, I mean, they don't have to do too much. And the last time they did do too much was when they had the ugly large 4-9 and then the Ers. Like, Mike, what the hell was that? It looked like someone was drawing in the dark, drunk. That's the only way you can explain that logo. Other than that,
I don't know how they had a news conference for it.
That's horrendous. But other than that, everyone should be happy that the old bright reds, white bottoms are back because those are clean as hell. I was talking about it in 2019. I was like, ooh, these white throwbacks are fresh as hell. Now they need to bring back the bright reds and the white bottoms. Then we really have something. But I'm kind of glad these are alternate / throwbacks because like I feel like if these were the permanents, it's kind of loses its appreciation. You know what I mean? Like
you get over it.
Yeah, you'd get over it. You'll still think they're nice, but I feel like they need to remain throwbacks as alternates for a reason. Don't use it too much. I think it's kind of nuts that they're actually wearing both of those jerseys for almost half of the season. Look at that. It's so ugly, bro. What the hell? My goodness. No. Why is the 9 like the biggest one? 49ers. Like that's how they want you to say it. 49ers.
I'm so glad. Glad they pulled it. I'm so glad they pulled it. Oh my god.
That was easily by far the worst logo ever, I think, in NFL history.
Okay, what about this?
That's better, but it's still I think the gold. Why is gold not supposed to be chrome, bro? We're like, what are you doing? No, those are all disgusting. No matte, no black helmets, no nothing. Oh god, I just said that. No black helmets. Like we're doing too much now, man. We're doing too much. Like just stop.
No,
the helmets
okay.
Are fine.
Imagine that with the black uniforms though.
It's probably worse.
No,
honestly, it's still no. First of all, the 49ers should not have black uniforms. Stop it. They have to have like some white and gold alternative. That's what they really should have. That's what's really nice.
Gold? I can't do gold jerseys.
Not gold jerseys, but maybe more of like it's white, like kind of what the Saints do, but like a different variant that they could figure out. Well, maybe some more red streams in it, like because that's what. If you're gonna have alternate jerseys, it has to be your alternate or secondary color, right? So gold. You can't do it like that's kind of what like the Saints do. What they're all white and they're brown. It's kind of what the other teams do. It's kind of what the Ravens do, I guess, with the white but the blue the purple pants. Kind of what the Raiders do with the silver pants, silver numbers, white. Yeah, I kind of think that would be fresh as hell for the 49ers. I have something like maybe just like a different type of gold scheme. I don't know. That's something I've always thought about that would look fresh, like white on gold. And you got gold cleats going on, white gloves. Oh, that would look kind of clean to me. I don't know. I'm not creative enough in that aspect to think about how it would look like.
I'm not creative at all.
But I think it would look better than any type of red on red. Like, no, like stop it. Now we're getting back to the color rush, which is probably the next worst thing the NFL. No, that was the worst thing the NFL did. The color rush, the all bright green Seattles, the all yellow Rams, all that. It looked like mustard and relish or something like that. That's what it looked like when those two were playing each other 2 years ago. But no, let's stop. Let's stop messing with these, or at least like the historic franchises who already look good. The other teams need to kind of change a little bit. Like Tennessee, go back to your Oilers look, because that, I mean, even though I was in Houston, but they still have the rights to that. That still look fresh.
This thing's ugly here.
What is that? It looks like it looks like in a create a team in Madden 2007.
That thing is awful. I don't know who decided to do that design. Let's see. See, like
the thing is, like so many of these designs.
I would be for this helmet though.
I'm not for it. I think it's kind of bad, but I wouldn't be like wholeheartedly like thrashing it like other things. Like that's probably the best thing going right now, and that's still not great.
So no, not this all red look.
No, hell no.
Red pants, gold helmet. What about this gray?
This gray's kind of color rush. That's color rush.
This gray's kind of cool though. No,
that's gray. It looks black on my screen.
It's gray.
Why is it gray? They don't have any gray in their. They don't have any gray in their uniform color. Why are teams doing uniform colors that aren't their freaking color? That's the thing that pisses me off. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Niners should have never had black jerseys. Who else? I kind of hated that the Eagles have the black jerseys too. Like, come on, some of you guys like play it out too much. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Imagine if the Rams did like. Well, actually, the Rams do have gray jerseys, huh? Or
Rams?
Who is that? Is it
Seahawks?
The gray?
Seahawks. They have gray.
Yeah, there's another team that has gray jerseys. I think it's the Rams. Oh, you know what? I think it's called their bone color. That thing looks horrendous. Yeah, the Rams have by far the worst jerseys in the NFL.
You have the 49ers, or you have the Cardinals with the black.
Yeah, I don't think they should have black either. That's kind of dumb. Because aren't they supposed to be primarily like red and white? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, some of them look cool, but it's like, come on, man. It's like, you guys are doing way too much for this. No, stop. No black jerseys.
No.
Oh, throw it away. What is that?
That's ugly.
It looks like it belongs in the movie Replacements.
That's so bad. This is probably worse.
Is that the Chiefs uniform?
No, it's supposed to be Niners.
Oh, God. I feel like people who make these uniforms have to hate the 49ers. That's the only way to explain it, to be honest. That's the only way to explain it, why these uniforms exist.
With the gold trim instead of the red. All red. Like these. Oh, remember that? Some people were thinking that this show's Raiders, but some people were thinking the 49ers were going to do like some type of gold jersey.
Okay, maybe like something like that. It's not terrible.
No, that's ugly.
No, I'm talking about like not that exact one. That looks too plain. But that's kind of, I don't know. I just think of something different.
As long as they don't do this.
That looks like mustard. Brown mustard, spicy brown mustard jersey on him.
Or gold jersey, or gold numbers in the jersey.
No, that
kind of
looks
looks
like
better
pajamas.
white. Looks better white.
Yeah, white
pajamas. Sure. Out there with onesies on.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. I think that's why I hate colorless jersey. It looks like everyone's playing in a onesie. Kind of. Looks like they're playing in a bodysuit.
Bodysuit. Jesus. No. Where's that one I wanted to click on? So with these, like,
I hate those ones.
You think those are the worst all time?
The burgundies? Yes. For them? Yes. Those were ugly as hell.
Okay, the only thing I liked about these is gold pants. That's it. Gold pants.
Yeah, the gold pants were kind of respectable. I just hated how they had the black outline and stuff like that, and the logo on the side.
The gold pants. Give me the gold pants. Right now, they're kind of like the hardball khakis. They're not really gold. And I just think if you can match your helmet a little better, that would be, ideal. You don't want to just have these Target looking uniforms with.
And that's why the Niners sucked all those years. They're wearing loser uniforms, so
stop it.
Look like trash. Look like trash.
No. Oh, I didn't know I had that thing in there. Stop it. Jerry Rice wore that uniform.
Barely.
Steve Young wore that uniform.
Barely.
T.O. wore that uniform. Come on. Vernon Davis, Patrick Willis, Frank Gore.
They didn't win a lot, did they? They didn't win a lot. The last winning season was 2001.
We're talking about the uniform, Jose.
Yeah, and I'm talking about how it generated like terrible seasons for a reason. Yeah, Target. It looked like you bought it at Target. That's what Raymond's saying. I agree with him.
I will just be down for if they want to go black again. I think this is what I was saying on the Niners Nation podcast that I do weekly. I think the black looks great as a fashion statement. I don't think it looks great as an NFL, because I have a black jersey. Like when you throw on that black jersey and you see other people like
it's like an alternate only for fans, but not to wear.
Yeah, it looks good in the stands. It looks good in the stands when people are rocking it. It looks good.
Let's go slightly off topic here. What do you think about those Giants' new uniforms?
They're fucking trash.
Dude, those are trash. How can that? Who approved that? I like how they said, "Oh, this is the fog." Like, that's fog, motherfucker. It looks like you took like paint with the paintbrush and went like this and just went.
No,
just threw that while it flicks on.
How my thought on it is, it just looks old. It looks like you washed your jersey, but you washed it wrong. So now, like, it's starting to peel off. That's what it looks like to me. You know, I've had jerseys for a long time, and it looks like it's peeling off because
it's supposed to be called the fog. How do you make? First of all, like, I think my cousin said, I like the idea. The execution was poor. Like, yes, sometimes ideas are just that good ideas, and you just can't look at.
Your family out there is just like mixed fan bases on. You have some A's, you have some Giants, you have some Niners, you have some Raiders. And Niners. Really? Giants, so you're the outlier. You're the outlier with the A's, huh?
Yeah.
And the Raiders.
Yeah. But I mean, freaking bunch, all my fandoms died, so now that they can't even bother me, I'm just like, dude, I just watch it now. Like the Lakers is just now like wait, call me when the playoffs are there. Plus, it's like when I work nights, it's like I haven't been able to watch them for the last 8 years, so I think that's why I kind of died. Same thing with the A's. So I think until like once the Raiders,
you were in on the playoffs last year, but then they broke your heart like usual.
Oh yeah, I was in the playoffs. Yeah, I watched it. I just laughed. I was like, haha. I think it's kind of harder because LeBron's on the team. So
no, I'm saying the A's, when the A's were in the playoffs last year, you were.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they're in the that's what I'm saying. When they're in the playoffs, wake me up. Now it's like because I want to see. Can you actually advance past the first round? Nope. Same thing. Lather, rinse, repeat. We're on a new year.
It's that money ball. They got to go ahead and pay some contracts. That's what the Dodgers do. Dodgers use money ball, but they also give contracts. And the other teams like the Giants are going to use money ball, but they're also going to pay contracts. So that's why those teams are going to have a better success rate when it comes to the World Series, because you need some of those big time contracts. Like you need to add. That's how it is in football. You want to be great in-house because the highest paid free agents don't really work out that much. In baseball, they do. If you pay the guys right, like what's his name in New York that just got the highest paid pitcher, Garrett Cole. He's gonna work out, and it's gonna be a great signing for the Yankees. The guy's an ace. Trevor Bauer, before his whole scandal that I'm not gonna get into because it's just annoying and stupid. He has been working out so far for them. So, Mookie Betts, he may has not had an all-star first half, but he's going to win them a whole lot of games than somebody else that they would have brought up from the minors.
So the funniest thing that I read,
contracts in baseball.
I don't know if you saw it, but what's his name? When Marcus Semien was a free agent, they suggested, I was on the table, I don't know, it might have been 20 years just because of how stupid days are. They wanted to pay him $1 million increments over 20 years for a 4 or 5 year deal with him. $1 million a year over the next 20 years for a deal, for like a 1-2 year deal with him. They're like, here, 2-year deal, but we'll pay you $1 million for the next 20 years. And I'm like, so the owner is actually pretty damn rich. This guy is such a cheap wad, man. This is the guy who
they try to use Afterpay.
Dude, just imagine. It's like always like say me and you go out to bars every Friday, and it's like, all right, Jose, I got this first night of drinks, and it's like, whatever. We go through 4 drinks, $100, whatever. Next time you're expecting me to pay it, and it's like, oh, I know you're expecting me to pay it. I just won't come out again. I'm gonna try to find someone else to come party with us so he can pay it, because I actually know cheap wads like this. So it's kind of like, so it's like no, like I don't know. It's just that shit kind of like that's just so frustrating. Just that's another thing why it's just fandom. It's like, dude, all these teams, man. I just watch it now. I just watch it. Wake me up when it's the playoffs, and if it's not, then I got other things to worry about.
What I'm gonna start saying is, because I don't think I'll ever lose my fandom. I don't think I don't know. I could be wrong one day, but I think I'll always be emotionally invested. I'm gonna have to
Oh
hide
yeah,
it
that's
when I'm
me.
in the press box for sure. Um, so I'm just gonna, call myself a professional fan of the 49ers. I'll
Honestly,
stick with that.
if I was a fan of the 49ers, I wouldn't want to go to the press box. The only reason I'm in the press box is just because I have Wi-Fi and I had to write my articles. To be honest, the press box is actually honestly an overrated thing, and the fact
Oh
that I
yeah.
was in the Super Bowl and I got to sit in the stands, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I get to experience this as like a semi fan. This
Well,
is awesome.
there's some press boxes that you would don't mind sitting in. More so baseball, I would say, than football. Like football, you could be pretty high
Yeah,
up, and it's like
Niners, you're up
this
there,
kind of
dude. You're
it's
up
like
there.
this kind of blows. Having that bird's eye view, if you will, rather than just having just sitting plaza and just enjoying the game. But what would be for me, it would be really hard to go to Levi Stadium and not indulge in some beer in Empire's Row and have a good time with all the other fans and
And plus, at
not
least if
take a
you're
sip
saying
of
something for
anything.
a podcast article or whatever for your sake, at least you can be out there and be like, I can talk about the vibe. Like I can't talk about that because I only feel it halfway. I think it was a lot easier to do in 2019 because it was so goddamn loud because they were always blowing teams out of the water. But and plus I would go to the games with my uncle and my cousin. I'd be the designated driver since I had to be sober while I'm driving in the games in the
Well, you
credential
also
parking
couldn't
lot.
go in the press box smelling like beer anyway.
Well, you're gonna smell like something anyways in that parking lot, but it's not like a Raider parking lot. We're gonna smell like weed and whatnot. But yeah, so I think so. Actually got more of a sense, but if I didn't have them, it's kind of hard to actually talk about. And I think actually, who sucked at that? I think it might have been John Middlecoff. Middlecoff doesn't do press box anymore because he likes being out there and actually like seeing what the fans get in that energy and kind of like talks for them. So I love that. I would love to do that. That's just, it's just I have the deadlines to me, and I have to be there.
It just gets expensive.
That's what I'm saying. So you just got it's much more fun. It's much more that'd be more of a greater way to talk about things, I think, in my field. But we definitely went off topic again. Those jerseys are so ugly for the Giants. They need to throw them away. They're horrendous. They could have done so much better.
It's fine. It's fine. Just for me, if you're gonna not have a gold helmet, just bring back all the all blacks. If not, then just keep a gold helmet. Don't have red. Don't have white because I don't think it mixes very well.
No,
And
definitely
then
not those two.
never, ever have a gold jersey. That's just one of my ask. Never have it. Just I don't think like I love gold. Like I have like 20 chains. I love gold. I just don't think it goes well being the primary color of a jersey, no matter if it's football, baseball, or basketball. I don't think it makes a good primary color. It's a good secondary color. It's a legendary secondary color.
Like that
It's just not a primary.
Cold? Or that's
Yeah,
cool. That's one on the brown side. Yeah, it doesn't really look
I
that
think
good.
they do have like a gold basketball jersey though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
And,
I'm watching like
yeah.
Chris Paul old pictures. I'm like, that's not. I guess that's what gold is.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it makes good primary. Like for them, they could just stick to white and black and it would be fresh because you have black, gold, and white as your colors. You could do good with those. You could do really good uniform design with those.
And
But
that's why that's 70% of my wardrobe. So easy.
yeah, I
Easy.
got a ton of black shirts. I got a ton of white shirts and a ton of gray shirts, and that's probably it. The red shirts I have are 49ers, and I don't even think I have a Giants orange shirt. All my Giant stuff is just gray or black.
Not the orange one. The orange one's too
So
bright.
that's the thing. It's like I have an orange jersey, but like a shirt, I just don't really like having orange shirts. It just reminds being Hispanic and stuff. Like it just reminds me of construction. Like straight up, it just reminds me of working construction. I haven't done it, but I've known.
Glad Javi
people
wasn't
who
here to
have.
listen to that.
He's Puerto Rican. He's different. He's different.
Yeah, but that's gonna be another thing. Like when he threw in our faces, like, "Oh, don't you guys play soccer or something?"
No, football americano. Any last thoughts?
Nah, just don't wear ugly jerseys or actually be color coordinated and you're good.
Okay, so don't ever wear a Raiders jersey. I doubt you guys would. And don't ever wear a Dodgers jersey. I doubt you guys would. well, maybe the LA 49er fans, and don't ever wear a Lakers jersey. Some of you might.
I wore that.
I don't like the Lakers because Kobe was just growing up. Kobe was just so dominant. It was annoying to me.
Matter of fact,
So
that
that's
reminds
why
me
I
of
don't
the
like the
next
Lakers.
of another shirt I'm gonna wear next week, just because you said that. I'll keep that surprise. I got it.
If it's Mamba, like full out respect now, but I'm just saying.
No,
like,
you'll like it. You'll like it. Everyone's gonna appreciate it.
And then LeBron went there. I just hated that because like I held LA to a standard for Kobe. Like that's Kobe's, team. And since like a lot of LeBron's career was him versus Kobe, and now he goes to Kobe's team, I wasn't really a fan of that. So I still don't like the Lakers, but I appreciate all you guys tuning in. For some reason, my comment section spazzed out. So while we were just discussing the uniforms, I couldn't go ahead and click on anything. It just stopped loading. Didn't let me scroll up. Let me scroll down. It's probably my 7-Eleven internet. I don't know, but I appreciate all you guys tuning in with us, and we'll talk next week. Thank you, Jose.
All right, y'all.